Hi, my name's Dee, and welcome to Sunchild Tarot, and welcome to your new moon reading for the sign in the title below. Because it's a bulk introduction, which you don't have to watch every time, because I would say you really want to watch three of these. You want to watch your sun sign, which is the I am, your rising sign, which is how you are presenting to the world, what is happening in the outer world for you, and you want to watch your moon sign because, of course, it's the moon. It's a new moon. Of course, your moon sign would be relevant. Now, I'm not going to go in for long about the astrology of the new moon. There are plenty of astrologers who have done it far better than I ever could, and all of their shows are posted on my Facebook page for this channel, which link down below in the description. So if you're wanting to know about the astrology of it, you have plenty of astrologers to choose from on there. Suffice to say, it's big. It's a big full moon. There is a stellium in Aquarius. So what have we got? We've got Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn, with Saturn ruling, in Aquarius. Now, it is not the age of Aquarius. I don't care what various people say. It is not the age of Aquarius, and as I've said before, the age of Aquarius will not begin until tropical, i.e. Western traditional 0 degrees Aries, is the same position as sidereal Aquarius. At the moment, it isn't. 0 degrees Aries is sidereally some of 22, 21, 22, maybe 23 degrees Pisces. So there's a while yet. I think that's right. I think it's there's a 22 involved in there somewhere. But anyway, it's in Pisces. It is not in Aquarius. However, this is a really big time of Aquarius, and there's no shaking that. We have numerous planetary synodic cycles starting. Let me bring my details up. So we've got just this week alone, and there's been a fair amount over the past few weeks, but just this week alone, I mean, bear in mind, this is all under the Great Conjunction. But we have a new Venus-Saturn cycle starting. Obviously, a new Sun-Moon, but that's a monthly one. A new Sun-Mercury, that's quite frequent. A Venus-Jupiter synodic cycle starting, Mercury-Venus cycle, and Mercury-Jupiter. So, it's very much, this is a new time coming in. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's all these new, some of those were that's all a lot of the personal planets, the inner planets. So they're small cycles, but we've just had all the massive big cycles, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Jupiter, Saturn, I should say, Saturn, Pluto as well. So we know they all restarted before Christmas. Before Christmas? I think they were all before Christmas. I should know that off by heart, shouldn't I? I talked about every single one of them. Now, there is a timestamp below, so you don't have to watch this repeatedly. You only have to watch this on the first reading. It's well worth it. What I want to look at is the angels, the degree angels. Now, I never thought I'd going to be an angel person. But the degree angels are the Kabbalistic angels, who are very traditional, mighty and terrible. So, of course, I'm drawn to them like a moth to a flame. Now, this new moon, 23 degrees Aquarius, that's ruled by Menadel, who most people will be glad to know that he's great for job seeking. So if the economy and the virus and all the economy crash and what have you has affected you, now is a great time to ask for some help in job seeking and redesigning what you want to do next, because that's a lot of this Aquarius stuff. It will exhibit in community with an independent streak, which may sound like a bit of an oxymoron, but I think I've got my head around that idea. Um, so you, a lot of it is internal right now that you will be later putting into practice. But that is, so Menadel, let me bring up my details here. You'll have to forgive me, I am referring to notes. I don't know all this off by heart. Menadel, as a degree angel, is seen as fearless and presiding over inner and outer work. And there's definitely this theme of the inner and the outer work going on with everything, everything that I've been looking at to do with this. Now, Menadel has been active. Let's have a look. Menadel was active last March and April, which I think was, let me just double check this. I think that was Uranus. Yep, with Uranus at 5 degrees Taurus. And then there was obviously Mars arrived at 5 degrees Taurus in January. And now Menadel is ruling 23 degrees Aquarius. Those rulerships don't change. I know the way I phrase that, it makes it sound like they do change, but no, they don't change. Now, Menadel here is like everybody being ruled by Saturn, so being ruled in this case by Luvia. Saturn is the ruler of this chart. If you do rulership chains, everything leads back to Saturn, mainly because everything's in Aquarius. Of course, I'm using ancient rather than modern rulerships there. You could say everything also goes back to Uranus, but Saturn and Uranus are in square to one another anyway, and that is the flavour of this year. That tension, that tradition versus independence. Now, Luvia is all about dialing God and expansive intelligence or fruition, although I couldn't find any more information out from the Dictionary of Angels because he's not in there, or she's not in there. But what I actually want to look at is Mahasya. Now, Mahasya rules 22 degrees Capricorn. So as you know, that had a lot of activity this last year. So today, or rather on the new moon, Mahasya is ruling the North Node. So is being ruled by astrologically the angel Rael, who is representing Mercury, or Mercury's degree, but again, then in Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, therefore ruled by Luvia in this chart. Now, Rael is about removing hatred, liberation. Rael helps to remove obstacles and impediments and to live in a universe without boundaries. Now, if that is not an Aquarius flavour, I don't know what is. So that also is just that one step less abstract than what Luvia is about. Luvia literally seems like it's channeling the divine plan that down into a way that not that we can understand, because we're never going to be able to understand that, but at least that something may be able to understand it. But Mahasya, as I said, was in control of 22 degrees Capricorn. So last year, that's Menadel's history I'm looking at. Last year, Pluto was there. Jupiter crossed over it. Mars crossed over it very, very briefly. And basically, Mahasya was busy going from the 1st of January last year, because that's where my records start, that I've got programmed into my database. Then it was active from the 1st of the year to the 19th of January. From the 16th of March through to the 21st, again in July for a couple of days, then 5th and the 6th, and then the 10th of July, all the way through, and this will be through Pluto, Oh no, all the way through to the end of November, again on Christmas Day, again on New Year's Eve, I notice, and then, okay, my records aren't complete, but that's what I've managed to dig out so far. Mahasi has been doing a lot of work with the energies of Pluto, with, as that energy of Pluto was deconstructing and doing what Pluto does, Mahasya was adding her flavour to it. Then Jupiter crosses over, giving that boost to the Mahasya vibration. Then Mars. So giving that kick in the pants to the things that had already been set up. And now the North Node. This has all been constructing stuff regarding our density. Well, yeah, our density, if you speak New Age hippie stuff, but our destiny. Deconstructing things, reconstructing things, building things, changing structures, removing and rebuilding structures ready for this whole new time. Now, what is Mahasya's vibration? So Mahasya is about healing and rectification, setting things right. He's a seraph. He's part of the Sephirah of Kether, so that the highest Sephiroth, and he answers to Metatron, and he's a fire, represents fire. And planetary angels are Neptune and the Sun. His name means Saviour God, apparently. So this is what everything is slowly being built up. Hopefully that's expressing in all of us and all of our lives, where this Mahasya's energy is creating, building and moving and getting us to a place that is going to be better. That's the hope. I mean, obviously, it's reliant upon our cooperation to this, with this, and our openness to it. But it is really the way his focus has shifted from smashing things to now, okay, destiny, this way, I think is really quite beautiful. Now, what other information have I got about Mahasya here? He re-establishes the order of the divine in your life, makes it possible to live in total peace and joy, and to enjoy the simple things in life, and can help you into schools of learning where you can pursue forms of initiation. Now, that peacemaking energy is going to be very, very useful, because there's also all the divisions are being highlighted to us, but they are being highlighted because of this healing process. Now, what I want to look at is the symbols for 23 degrees Aquarius. So I'm going to start with the Sabian symbol. Which is a man turning his back on passion and teaching from his own experience. So this is talking about someone who has been fighting their good fight, whatever it is, or having their obsession, and then all of a sudden they're suddenly going, I've learned so much from this, I have to pass this knowledge on. So they're transferring from, to be facile, but it would work in today's culture, from being an active social justice warrior to training active social justice warriors, would be one way of looking at it. I mean, you could replace active social justice warrior with carpenter, and oh no, that's still got that vibe, hasn't it? Okay, plumber, and it can, the message still holds true, but there's this sharing of information, this allowing those who don't know to find out and know, which I think, especially after focusing more on setting things right, we're going to need to know how to do lots and lots and lots of things. But what is really interesting is the inside degree, or the Chandra symbol. So we have a large brown bear picking and eating apples. It's like, okay, yeah, what? But the interpretation of this, I'm just going to read it straight out because you'll see why when I get towards the end of it. Gross indulgence and a conscience that just won't quit, saturating your energy field with exaggerated gestures of capitulation to your own lower nature. But you do this in a continual ironic juxtaposition to an observing intelligence and a keen conscience which deplore and have no use for your own shenanigans. So you're literally stuffing your face with chocolate while another bit of your brain is going, why are you eating all of that chocolate? It's not going to do you any good. So being split between the compulsive and addictive personality and the dispassionate and icily removed consciousness, you're trying to turn yourself around by alternately binging and reforming, a bit like crash dieting. But each binge triggers a reaction of the other side of mind, and each renunciation and reformation in turn triggers a further reaction from the first piece of mind. This dialectic between being bad and being good is all on the pro and con level of the dualistic mind. The only hope in this pattern lies in wearing out both ends, so that a third place can open up in which neither acting out nor becoming exemplary is all that's necessary. You do what you do, and you see it the way that you see it. And all of the self-conscious overlays and each and every self-manipulation in whatever direction dissolve when the space is clear. So I know that I've mentioned on previous videos about how very divided we are in society nowadays. It doesn't matter where in the world that you look, there is divisions rampant, whether you want to say Democrat, Republican, Brexiteer, Remainer, look at Myanmar. But this energy, that symbol, that idea of wearing out both sides while we are learning how to do things better, because those who have a time to teach now are led to actually teach and teach everybody else, you know, whether it is how to get in touch with your angels and how to get in touch with God, or how to sort out a septic tank and sort out your plumbing, or carve a chair, or recycle whatever, or change the way that you're fishing, farming, hunting, what have you. All of these things, the very structure of our economy, as we know with the virus, is under question at the moment. And so there is going to be, and there is already to a certain extent, if you look at the right websites and email newsletters and what have you, a absolute cacophony of good ideas about how to move forward. All of this under the watchful eye of Luvia, who, let me see, what was the phrase again? Who has an expansive intelligence, brings things to fruition, and knows how to dial God. You know, so I would say that in itself is a superpower, you know. So if you if you are a fixed sign, oh, I've forgotten, where's my cheat sheet? Aquarius, let's have a look. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get it wrong. And it's not on my, fixed signs. Here you are, Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, or Scorpio. On a basic mundane day-to-day level, you can expect to get affected by this stellium through conjunction, through square, through opposition. But pretty much it's going to affect all of us. This is a global thing. The last time this sort of stellium in Aquarius occurred was in 1962. And we know how pivotal the 60s were for creating a shift in our society, even if things seem to have shifted back since then. So if you are familiar with your chart, if you know your rising sign, and if you don't, there is a link, well, there's two links in the description down below for where to get a free birth chart. Have a look which house Aquarius sits in for you. I use whole sign houses, if that means anything to you. So for me, it's all in the 8th house. Or if you go by my sun sign, it's all in my 12th house. Oh, I'm expecting plenty of revelations coming along. And I must admit, my astrology studies have been just going, well, my degree angel studies, let's put it that way. I keep having moment after moment of, oh, I can do it this. Oh, I didn't think of looking at that. Oh, and what does this mean if I look at this? So there's like revelation after revelation already. And the new moon isn't even here yet. But there's whichever house you Aquarius is for you, that's where you can expect quite a bit of activity. If you've got natal planets in that area, opposite to that area, or basically in the cardinal signs, that will this stellium will have an immense personal effect. And again, that all sounds like random things, but go to the link AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology in the description down below, and get yourself a birth chart, and hopefully you'll make more sense of if what I'm saying sounds a little obscure, because I'll hold my hand up. I'm only just starting to understand the houses in this last 6 months. Before then, I was just like, I don't know what they're talking about. Right, so I've done the saving symbol. I'm just checking my notes. So remember, this reading is a general reading. So general reading rules apply. It should mainly be there as a confirmation for you, or just something for you to mull over. What I would, never make your mind up on what I say. Just take it under advisement and then consider it, and then make your mind up, but don't just do it because I said do it. Even though I have already done a reading for this new moon where I'm telling somebody to just do it. But, it's still your choice, not mine. Now, what I would like you to do beforehand is ask a question. So especially really with this, ask a question that relates to how you interact with your community, or relates to obviously new moon, new beginnings, or entire new directions of life, because it's such a big event. This, unlike last year where it was event after event after event, this year, this is the pretty much biggest one. And other than Saturn square Uranus, but that's going on all year. So, there isn't like a whack bang like there is with this one. So take a moment, think about all of the questions that are around you. Focus on one of them, but be aware of all of them, because the cards will answer whatever they choose, and not necessarily what you or I think are the most priority of questions. So, as ever, please do the good YouTube stuff. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel really, really does help. Then again, so does the like button. But more importantly, comment. Let me know, once I get to the reading, what you, if the reading is good for you. But also let me know what you think about my view of looking at the degree angels for the astrology, because, well, I'm going to keep doing it because I find it absolutely fascinating. But I want to know, should I just shut up about it and do it in private, or should I continue talking about this stuff as I get to learn more? Because, again, hold my hand up, I'm a total beginner at this. So, I think that's everything. So timestamp will be for now. And let's get on and have a look at your cards. Okay, Capricorn, if you are Capricorn rising, this is all occurring in your second house, your assets, your finances, your the things that you value, your precious things. And I'll stop right there before I sound like Gollum. Obviously, that's your second solar house if you're a Capricorn sun. Now, I'm not sure that assets and values are quite what I'm seeing here, but I will say that this is looking really good, but you're going to have to stick with me because it's got a pretty miserable start. But the first thing I am going to point out to you is that you have got a change coming. On the bottom of the clarification deck, we have the Fool card, indicating that whole new time. We have from the Moonology, your hard work is paying off. And from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, trust. So it's indicating that you need to trust in the work that you've put in already, because it has been slow going, but you've been... there was something that you charged ahead with, that you was all full of vim and vigour towards accomplishing. It felt like a very honourable and golden goal for you to achieve. But like I said, it was slow going. So at the moment, you're struggling under the burden of it. And you are faced with a choice. Do I carry on, or do I give up, give in, change something else? Now, there is something that you are walking away from here. We have the Eight of Cups on the bottom of the deck, clarified by the Judgment card. There is some form of transformation coming in for you, where you are walking away from one dream or another. However, I really don't think that what you're walking away from is this Ace of Wands, this fresh idea that you've started with vim and vigour, as I said, within the recent-ish past, the relevant past to what's going on now. I don't think that you are in a necessarily need to be walking away from the burden that you are under right now, because you chose to be there. And it was to accomplish something that you wanted to accomplish. But I do believe that familial responsibilities, or some form of caring responsibility, is causing you to struggle slightly with whatever your idea was that you was surging ahead with, and the reality of actually getting it done. And this is something that has sat uneasily with you. I do think it's been quite an emotional ride for you, and right now there's something that you really, really, really want to come together with, and you don't think you've got anything to bring to the table. You don't think you've got... there's nothing to bring to the party. You're tapped out. You're all out. Okay. Now, with Remph, the Angel of Time, this too shall pass. Or as it's put in the description of Remph, all things burn to ash eventually. You know, but I think this too shall pass is probably a far nicer and easier and more relevant way of saying it. But you are encouraged with Hod here to submit to this process that you have already begun. Yes, there is a transformation coming. Yes, you're on a precipice of a choice. But the Summon card from Wisdom of the House of Night, I forgot for a second, I was looking at the words and I still forgot. The Summon card says that you can summon your courage, you can summon your higher powers, whatever happens, you have to take your next step carefully, slowly, deliberately. In fact, let me read this one out. So, how do you communicate with your powers, or with me, your goddess? Remember, this is supposed to be the voice of a fictional iteration of the goddess Nyx. Now is the time to pray, to meditate, to acknowledge the sacred in every experience. Don't take your next step lightly. You have the power to summon your spirit, summon your courage, and even summon me. You are inquiring about something important. Breathe. Wait for a sign before you act. Choose another card if you need more understanding of my wisdom for you. Well, we're not going to choose another card. We've got plenty. But yes, breathe. Ask for guidance. Because here, what Spirit's bringing in for you, Four of Cups. There's your guidance. If you allow yourself to hear it. However, when you're in this Five of Pentacles mood and you're lusting after joining something, but feeling that you have nothing to bring to the table, to bring to this joining, it's very hard to disassociate yourself from all those feelings and just go, right, I want to listen for a bit, all these feelings, put them over there. But I think that's what you need to do. Because Spirit is offering the opportunity to lay something to rest. Ten of Swords here. And the opportunity to grieve something. Now, there is something that you will probably be grieving because there is something that you are walking away from here. However, because of this, your hard work is paying off, and trust, I don't think it's this project that you started, this new direction that you started, this new way of being that you started, however it's manifesting for you, because I feel really, really good about the golden coin that this Knight of Pentacles is holding up. Like, not quite a holy relic, but it is leading him on a quest. And then, as we move into the future, we have the Page of Cups, a new dream, a new idea being offered to you. But because of what I'm feeling from it, it's not even a new dream. It's a new way of looking at what's already there. Because there is someone who is contemplating joining in with you on this effort. However, they can be a bit too strategic for their own good at times, and they're only going to put in what they can afford. If anything, I think they're only going to put in, and I mean this emotionally, time-wise, as well as financially. I think they're going to put in a little less than they can afford because they are, by very nature, cautious. And they're not in a position where they are wanting to commit. And it's quite possible that they are advising you exactly the same. Are you really sure you want to go through with this? And your answer is, yes, I do, but how? How am I going to do it? Well, it's this new way of looking at it that comes to you, but this is coming to you via guidance. It's this Page of Cups here is signified by the High Priestess, by the using your intuition, by the merging of two halves or two opposites, by linking in with the divine. She's a priestess, for God's sake. And there's some other worry, concern, fear, issue, because it looks like there's some conflict coming up in the future, but some conflict that's blind to everything that you've been trying to accomplish here. And I think that's outside of what you're trying to accomplish here as well. So that is something that you need to prepare for. So you need to be in a position where what you have started, you are going to be able to finish is not the right word. I don't think this is a project with an end. Just like opening a business is a project with no end, hopefully. Um, you can end the opening of it once you are open, but you've still got to get to opening days, fit out the shop, stock the shelves, get the right suppliers, blah 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 blah, all the things you've got to do with business. And then so the building of it finishes, but then it changes shape. And whatever you are working on is set to change shape. But this time it's not because of an opening day. It's changing shape because of the way that you are looking at it. And you go through a transformation through this. Judgment card here. And also, the God looking after you here is Sharon, representing transition. Going from one state to the next. So yes, there is something that you're going to walk away and leave, but I think it's an old point of view or an old attachment that is no use in this current situation, because what I really love is coming towards the conclusion. Your final outcome card is the Magician, and that's when this other conflict hits. Which is blind to whatever it is that you've been accomplishing and possibly irrelevant to whatever it is. It's just going to take up some time. But beneath it, in your hopes and fears, we have the other Magician card. So there's all this coming into your power, coming into your expertise, getting the elements to work by your command towards the end of this process, but you ain't there yet, and that's why you feel so poverty stricken, that you have nothing to offer to contribute, because with what you have tried to start, you have taken so much on board and you just can't do it anymore. So you feel like you just can't do it anymore. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. It's self-indulgent, self-pitying, because you are exactly where you expected to be. And that is what this summon card is telling me. You are exactly where you expected to be. So therefore, you have to submit to your own process that you started. So I suppose I'd call this reading Stick to the Plan. With the obvious caveats that you're walking away from something, but I don't think it's the plan. I think it's the way you carry out the plan that you're walking away from. So we have the guardian angel of children. I honor the precious child within me. I nourish and cherish all new beginnings. There's something that's coming in that's definitely changing what you have been working towards. But I think that's changing it in a good way, because we have that card here, your hard work is paying off. Your hard work has got you to this point, and none of that hard work is going to be wasted. It's just going to be used slightly differently than what you initially thought it would. And the reason is because this slightly different way is better. And you can see that it's better, and you can be happy that it's better. Whereas right now, you ain't got time nor chance to actually focus upon that. But as I say, we have the Magician as the final outcome card. Now, there's Two of Swords. There's this. Do you know this could almost be a competition rather than a conflict? It feels a certain amount of sportiness, and I'm not sport as in the activity, but sport as in sportsmanship. Everything's very honourable, and whoever wins or loses, everyone's friends at the end of the day, and that sort of the camaraderie that you can get through sports. So maybe it does link in to what you're trying to achieve. I'm not going to say for definite that it does, but yeah, stick to the plan, but slow down, listen for that guidance in every shape that it comes, and notice the wonders that are happening around you at this moment in time. You went through a lot of hard work last year, Capricorn, with everything going through your sign. So you started to make use of it. It's going to be okay. You are going to get there. And what tells me is those two magicians with the Ace of Cups. So to translate the hopes and fears, was this dream worth it? Have I got the power to carry it out? Yes. I couldn't say it more simply than that. Yes, you have. Absolutely, you have. Because with these two magicians, you are able to bring what is idealized into what is practical and what is real. And that seems like a great place to stop it. So there you go, Capricorn. As I said, miserable beginning, but a great end to the reading. So go and watch your moon and rising sign, all right? Cheers. Don't forget the timestamps.